Hi, I'm Coach Lemon Milk. You can call me Cam. If you saw my last long-form video about my summer TBR, I had some books that I wanted to read, and very boldly, I really tried to read all of them. Shall we start with the first book that I read from that list? It's Our Wives Under the Sea. It was such a sad book. Although it is very short compared to other books, it is packed with grief and emotions, and it is sadder because that person that you have loved has changed so much that you cannot even recognize who this person is anymore. This wife who has been under the sea for 6 months is now a completely changed person, and the partner, another wife who has been waiting for her, cannot really tell if this person is the one who she has been living with. The ending was so sad. I felt like I was about to cry, but I still really enjoyed this book in a very sad way. Then I thought, why not pick a more stressing book for the next? I read Love and Virtue, and please don't read this if you feel like you're under the weather. This is very stressing book, filled with tensions between college students who are so angsty. Like, this whole book feels sticky, and especially the kind of sticky bar floor with alcohol not being swept up cleanly. That kind of feeling is just this book. As two keywords, I'll describe this book, sweet potato and cider, because while reading this book, about 80% of this book is like eating sweet potato without any drinks. Just boiled sweet potatoes, you're just chugging it into your throat. But at the end, which was like almost like this end, almost at the end of the book, is like you're just like not even drinking, showered by cider. It just feels so, how do you say that? What's the word for it? It feels so cathartic to read this ending. So it's worth it if you are willing to go through all that sweet potato. After the book, I needed a break, so I chose Five Broken Blades. I already raved about this book right after finishing this. It is so good. It's 5 out of 5. I cannot wait for the second book because this is duology. So the ending is cliffhanger of cliffhanger. Oh my god. After reading that ending, I wanted to scream out so loud, but I was in the library while reading this, so I just had to be silent. But inside, I was screaming to the top. It is all about these 5 people who have their own motives and unique skills, and they also want to throw this king away from this throne, but it all goes wrong and no one can trust each other. I want to recommend this reading it after the second book comes out, because I don't think you can really wait, because I cannot believe I have to wait until next year. It was a little bit slow at the beginning and I needed some time, but after the first part, I just flew through this book. 5 out of 5, highly recommend. And the trouble with my summer TBR has started with this book, Emma by Jane Austen. One of the most famous Jane Austen works just ravaged me because it was so hard to read in Old English. I'm not native English speaker, and this is written in Regency era English. It is so hard to read because sometimes it feels like, what am I reading? Am I understanding correctly? What is this? This is how I felt while reading this book, although I had watched the movie version with Anya Taylor-Joy, so I knew what was going to happen. Still, I needed to listen to the audiobook version while I was reading this physically because I just needed help. It was not possible just reading this without any support. There's so many people and I cannot remember who is who. I just cannot remember all of them. There's so many. Fortunately, the narrator of the audiobook that I listened to was so good and I could distinguish some of them with the voice. And dare I say, the movie version was more entertaining than this book because I really love the whole pastel color scheme of costumes and set designs. But you cannot see anything of that in this book, so I had to imagine everything with the setting of the movie. And I felt like I was reading this book just for the sake of completing this summer TBR. That made me feel like I'm just doing my homework. That's not what I want while reading a book. I want to enjoy the experience, not just reading it for the sake of reading. So unfortunately, this book Queenie has to go. I will read this eventually, but not now because I don't want to read my books like some kind of checklist. If I describe myself, I'm a serious mood reader. And also, if I make a plan to read which books I'm going to read next, I get so attached to it. I get so obsessed with following that plan. And I just feel so stressed because even when I want to DNF one book like Emma, I just push myself till I lose the interest in reading any kind of books at all. So I have to stop. Then you might ask, what's the conclusion then? Well, I'm not going to make TBR anymore. I think it backfires for me. I get so obsessed with it, like I said. I think it's way better to just stick with my ultimate mood reading. I kind of know which book I'm going to read next, but I don't want to talk about it in this video right now because I'm pretty sure I will get hung up on it again. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this one, click the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out any reviews or recommendations from me. See you next time. Bye!